Welcome to Mechs on Deck, episode 33, the last of 2019.
Electric Boogaloo.
We're about to enter a new year, a new decade. This is the last stream of this decade. Not just the year, but the decade. That's crazy.
I was reading a tweet that tomorrow is the last day, or today technically, because you turn 20. Today's the last day we will have teenagers from the 90s.
That's nuts. That's crazy.
Everybody starting at midnight, whenever the last time zone goes over, we will no longer have teenagers from the 90s. Everyone will be at least 20 years old.
Real boomer. It is real boomer hours. Welcome, All Hex and Blind Assassin. How are y'all doing? As well as Singapore, which is also, I believe that's Toki on Discord. John.
Oh, John, it's that old as fuck.
John, what's up, my dude? What's crazy to me is that, so like, if you think about your life, like for my parents, there's like those moments in your life that you always remember where you are. For my parents, it was like the JFK situation, right? For us, I feel like it's 9/11, and we're getting to the point where there are going to be people who are alive that have never, like, they weren't born yet.
Yep.
Like, that's just crazy to think. I feel old.
I mean, people who were 17 were not alive when that happened.
That's
anyways, enough of the sad stuff.
well, Saturn. Sorry, I was just thinking. I was like, that is like the most pivotal moment. Like, that is like one of the few times where I really remember exactly where I was, and I remember that day vividly. And I'm like, holy crap!
I know this is weird. The three, like immediate, like I know where you were. That when Michael Jackson died and when Tom Petty died. I remember those three. Those are the pivotal moments in American culture.
Oh wow, Blind. Sorry for bringing it down.
Oof, getting real.
All
right.
We'll bring it back up.
Something that we can all appreciate. Zap cables.
Well, first, let's give a quick shout out. I want to give a shout out to Talisman Solutions. He donated 2,222 bits a couple days ago. Thank you, my dude. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyways, into our sponsors, we have Zap Cables. Make some of the best cables. Got some big changes that's happening. So be sure to get yourself some DIY kits because I know he will be focusing more on that. And then on top of that, we've got Dixie. You can go to mexondeck.dixiemech.com. Last 2 days to pick up GMK DualShot. I know my lovely friend Osiris here has gotten in on it.
A very special someone got it for me for Christmas.
Who knows? So be sure to get on GMK DualShot. We've talked about this a little bit, but there's not going to be like record-breaking numbers from that set. So that set's probably going to be one that a lot of people are going to be sad they missed out on. So let's turn it to some record-breaking numbers in the next 2 days. Anyways, last but not least, switchmon.net/mexondeck, 4% off, lube, springs, all that goodness, all that good stuff. So be sure to check all those out. We have a new sponsor coming up soon. Our announcement of that will probably be either Wednesday or next week.
Yeah, we're just waiting.
Next year, 100% next year.
Yeah, 100% next year. Just waiting on a couple things to get it all updated and kind of do that announcement. So today, episode 33, we're talking about the new year. We're talking about what we want to see. Last time we talked about what we liked in 2019 as part of the like products, I guess, more or less, rather than the actual like things in the community. But now we're going to talk about what we kind of want to see, and we definitely want to hear your opinion on the things that we talk about, as well as other things that you want to see. So throughout this, you have some ideas of things you want to see, definitely throw it in the chat, and we will respond to it. We'll elaborate on it from our opinions. But first, Chewy and I have never done a true Fast Four, the thing we always start our streams out with. We figured it would be fitting, or Chewy had the idea of doing it now, and then at the end of next year, we'll come back and compare and see what our differences are. So I'm going to let you start us off, Chewy.
All right, Fast Four. So typically we start with switches. So I'll do them 4-1. Creams. Creams have been one of the best switches released this year. Zelio, specifically the V2 78 gram switches, being edged out just slightly by Holy Pandas. Holy Pandas, I think, are just sound a little bit better. And to no surprise, Zycos are my number one switch this year. It is a switch that I put together. I don't want to say created. That sounds weird. But I put 3 pieces together and threw a stupid name on there, and boom, Zycos. So that is my top 4 for those. All the top 3, all 78 gram springs. So there's a theme.
I'll go unless we want to like roll through all of it. I'll just do switches.
Yeah, we'll go back and forth. So stay on the. I've got all my stuff written down. I know I surprised you with this.
Yeah, he did. I'm popping it off the top of my dome piece. So, I guess I feel more like the guest here. I will say exactly the same things. So 4 creams. Actually, no. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to do 4 Holy Pandas, 3 creams, 2 Zelio V2s. I'm okay with different spring weights. I can appreciate the variations. I do like 78 grams the best. That's what I use the most. And then 1 is Zycos. I mean, they're so good. If they weren't such a wasteful switch, it'd be way more worth it. But
oh yeah, it's just by the way, like, so off. I didn't stream this, but a not blind assassin, drifting bunnies. I don't know why I get those two mixed up every single time. The drifting bunnies sent, or I was able to borrow a solder sucker from him, and I desoldered 3 boards. I was talking about it in Discord the other day, and I was like, I didn't like the C3 stabs with Zycos, specifically in the Baka that has a very tight plate tolerance. So I can't give a full commitment to whether or not I like C3 stabs. We're going to call them C-thrabs from now on. But the C3 stabs in that, so I didn't give it. I think they're going to be better on linear boards than they are on tactile boards. But so I desoldered everything, and then I rebuilt 2 boards. I rebuilt my Baka and I rebuilt my OSA, and I put my OSA. I was like, I don't want 2 60% boards with Zycos in them. I want something different, so I put it in the OSA. Other than almost breaking my thumbs, it's an awesome board now to type on. And the reason I took it out of the Baka is because I kind of want to keep the Fiel like in its original state. It's kind of the board that I was like, okay, no, these boards are this switch is the real deal. So I'll probably never even, outside of cleaning it some, I probably will never even desolder that. So, but I'm done with Zycos. I'm like, that's next switch. Let's find something else.
Yeah, I think
they're too much, and it's so much effort. It's worth it for 1 or 2 boards. I'm stupid enough to do 2. But just the effort you put into them and all that, it's a hassle.
It feels bad. I'm sorry. I'm bringing out the remnants of that you have left over from a Zyco. if the reason why Zycos feel bad, they don't feel bad. They feel great, but on your wallet
On your soul.
is the fact that you are left with all of this, and it just doesn't go together.
And I've tried. I went in and I destroyed the top part of a V2 top just to see if I can get it to never work.
Yeah, I was thinking last night, I was like, what if I just clipped these? Nope.
Doesn't work, sadly. I've tried it. It didn't work. So yeah, that's why I recommend pick your board. Like make it a special board. Make it a fun one. You know you're going to use a lot. But I would recommend doing one. I have a full review on everything coming eventually. But I've got to give up the board to Osiris first because he's better at filming and pretty much everything technology involved. And so our Zycos is loud as Holy Pan is about 95%.
They sound a little bit different. They're not as pingy, I guess. The V2 bottom on Zycos makes them a little bit softer of a bottom out too. It's not as like harsh.
Which you need because you bottom out the shit out of these switches. Like it's just all bottom out. Like it's not
also
really a touch diaper.
Mykonos, thank you, or not Mykonos because it's not Mykonos at all. Thank you for the tier 1 sub for 6 months, man. 6 months.
Dude, I need to go in and pick a different color. So, but yeah, that's why I'm like, I've done my 2. I've got there are other great switches, and I don't want to sit there and waste all these switches. So
back to the top 4, the fast 4, top 4 key sets.
So, 4-1, late stage entry, number 4, GMK Lime.
Ooh,
GMK Lime. I picked GMK Lime for my Baka over camping. I just think that I think Lime looked better on the Baka than camping did.
But I think that's more the board color, it's more the gray than camping.
It is. Gray boards make camping's white way more yellow because it's a very white cream that camping has. So in certain pictures, I used to have it, but certain pictures were white. It looked like just CP white, and then certain pictures looked almost yellow. So, but anyway, GMK Lime, number 3, GMK Nines is my number 3 favorite set. Simplistic. It's not black. It's not white. It's right there in the middle. Number 2, GMK Modern Dolch. I don't think these top 2 are going to be beat probably ever. I could see 3 and 4 shifting, but something's going to have to blow me away. Modern Dolce number 2, number 1 GMK Camping. So Racing Draft, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub and for 5 months in a row. I hope you're enjoying your tofu. Still.
Christmas. Happy New Year. Your number 1?
Camping.
Okay.
I need to explain. I've explained it 100 times.
This is hard. It's funny
3 and 4 is hard.
I was gonna say 3 and 4 is hard. 1, 2 is easy. That's like
you can rattle off those easy.
That's some easy claps. It's easy claps in the chat. Let's see. Man, I think it's hard too because I have so many sets that I think are gonna be top 4 that I haven't seen or have yet. So
yeah, I went by caps that have been released.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of my thought too. So we'll go. Man, this is hard. Oh, 4, I'll go GMK Muted. I like Muted a lot. I like the purple. If you can't tell, I like purple. And I like
Never would have guessed.
I like muted colors. Man. 3, I'll do Olivia because it's out. Purple. What's up, Piney Bush? Thank you for the tier 1 for 3 months. So
I had a good conversation with Honeybush the other day. Fun dude.
He's a fun dude. I'm excited to hopefully meet him at KeyCon, which is announced the date, June 13th, I believe is what it was.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so 3 is Olivia, 2 is Nines, and 1 is Hyperfuse Origins.
I was like, I think one's. If I was seeing that, I was like, I wonder where Hyperfuse Origins is going to be. But I was like, it's got to be 1 or 2. And you said 9's at 2. I was like, oh, okay, that's easy. Yeah, I think the Hyperfuse train has kind of died out. Not that like there's just so many Hyperfuse variations. And I think that we've finally gone, okay, let's take a deep breath from Hyperfuse. Let's stop making kits.
It's funny because there was that little bit like right after. So Hyperfuse Origins, for those of y'all who do not know, Chewy actually gave to me as a Christmas present or birthday present last year.
Actually, the story is even deeper.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say originally you were gonna give me Burgundy round 2.
I bought you Burgundy originally, and then I bought a TX60, the gray one, the HHKB that I had, and I put Hyperfuse on, and I didn't like the way it looked. And then I had Camping that was brand new in box, never even put on anything. I put Camping on, and I was like, "This is better. This is the greatest thing that's ever been." And so I immediately was like, "I don't need Hyperfuse anymore." And I don't know what I want to put on it. And it was like I had this weird set where I was like, this set is so nice. Hyperfuse Origins, such a nice board or set that I don't want to put it on a cheap board. I had that weird mentality. I mean, do what you want, but if you want to put your nicest sets on your nicest boards, that kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, I was like, hey, I'm actually going to give you, I was like, I kind of like Burgundy a lot. So I was like, I bet he'd be happier if I gave him Hyperfuse Origins. So and it worked out. It's one of the most, it's still to this day one of the top 5 most beautiful boards I've ever seen. So your Orange 74.
Yeah, I think it just matches so well. Although I have contemplated taking it off and putting 9s on the Orange 75.
It would look good.
But also, Talisman, we gave you a shout out earlier for the 2,222, came in hot with another 1,111 bits. Quadruple ones. Talisman, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. But yeah, so that's my top 4. So I think it was 4 was, I don't even remember.
4 was Muted, 3 was
Muted, Olivia,
2 was 9's, 1 was Hyperfuse Origins. So, on to boards. So this is actually funny. When we first started, my number 4 was number 1. The irony. Because I've tried new boards since. Also, group buys delivered. But number 4, the TX60, I still think is one of the best bang for your buck boards you could get. Although, honestly, it's starting to dip off, not because of the quality of TX60. There are better boards coming out around that price.
I think it's also like a nature of like the time. Like,
yeah.
It's an older board at this point. Came out in a different era.
Late 2018, TX60 and TX65 and most TX boards were the king of bang for your buck. We're just evolving. The community's just getting better at releasing cheaper boards, which thank God. Number 3, the OSA. Especially now, Jesus Christ. I had Creams in it. I put Zycos in it. It's a great board. Blind Assassin did an amazing job designing that board and making it its own while everyone goes, oh, that's an Alice. I'm like, well, it's an open source Alice. That's what OSA stands for those who don't know. But it's a fantastic board. And I can't wait for you to get it because I'm excited to see what you have to say. Because you look for things that are a lot different than what I look for in boards. And that's definitely a layout that is new to both of us. Number 2, Fiel. It's best top mounted, or not top mounted, tray mount board in the business, solid beefy board. I'm kind of encompassing that with a WT60D. That PCB is basically flawless. And number one, I mean, come on. Come on. Come on. How can I not say this? Baka. I've been on this board for a week, and especially after I rebuilt it, I love it. Sublime Assassin, 2 for 4. Good job.
2 for 4. So for me, top 4 boards, I'm gonna stick with ones that I've like spent decent amount of time with, except for one, because I will spend a decent amount of time with it. So 4, I'll go with TX60 as well. I think it's just it really was for a long time kind of like not a standard, but it really kind of paved the way for what a standard of a 60 would be at the price point it was at.
Yep.
I think since then we've seen other brands have to do more at the same price as the TX60 in order to be competitive. There are still a lot of things about the TX60 that you don't get in some boards that are the same price or more expensive. So I think it did a lot for the community in that sense. Plus, everything the TX does is pretty sweet. Like, they do some weird stuff, like on the CP, how it has those little like, well, on most of the V2s, it has those like weird little light cuts.
The finger, oh yeah, I forgot what that relief cuts. I think that's what they call them.
Yeah, well, like for
diffusion
for the LEDs. That's I'm like, come on, man, just leave it whole. But hey, it's their design, not mine. They can do whatever they want. 3, I'm gonna go with my Orange 75. That was my first like somewhat big boy board, and I really love the design. I think it's very unique in the fact that it's like flat. It doesn't have an angle to it. A lot of people are like, that's really weird, but it's actually pretty comfortable because it's not a very tall board in general. I think if the front height was taller, it'd be harder to type on. And it just looks really cool.
Can I side note?
What's up?
You bought the Orange 75 the day after Mechs on Deck was
formulated.
Not formulated, but I guess the seeds were planted and sowed. Oh shoot! Talisman Solutions donated 1,111 bits. Thank you again.
You totally missed me thanking him for like a minute.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry, man. I thought you did for the 2,222. I don't know what I was thinking.
I did earlier. My Orange 75's not.
I thought you went through another one, but we talked about starting Mechs on Deck, and then that evening, Eric or Osiris, whatever.
You can call me Eric. That's my name.
Spoilers. You hopped on Mech Market, and it had been up for like 2 minutes, and it was local. It was perfect.
Up for like 2 minutes. Was like US, Texas. Messaged the dude. I was like, "Are you in Dallas?" And he's like, "Yes." It's like, well, okay. Let's clarify that a little bit further. What portion of Dallas? Because that's like a 2-hour worth of driving span. Was only like 10 minutes away, and picked it up the next day. Paid in cash.
I hope that dude shows up on Mechmar, shows up on the channel at some point.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Hey, guys. Racing Draft, thank you for the 20 bits.
Appreciate it, my dude. Yeah, it was a cool story because I was literally like, man, I really want an Orange 75. I think I literally said that, and then I was like, there's one on Mech Market, just posted. So, got really lucky with it. Mal white, I love the color. The finish is super soft. I just spilled wine on mine like 2 weeks ago. Didn't break it. Very excited. Very worried for about 20 minutes. Was probably the fastest I've ever opened a case on a board in my life and taken a PCB and keycap assembly out. But yeah, that's my number 3. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Baka. For the sheer fact that I haven't spent as much time as Chewy has with it. I've only spent about an hour maybe with it, 30 minutes. It looks great, feels great, sounds great. I'm really excited to get mine. I was gonna do a weird Cerakote color and do one of the ones that like color shifts, but I think I'm gonna go with a powder coat instead. I'm gonna do like a gold color. I gotta talk to the place that I'm planning on getting it powder coated. Might try to do something that's like a black gold, where it's like it's black, but then it's also sparkly
gold.
Because the blackboard that I initially was gonna get, I don't think is ever gonna happen. So,
lesson learned.
Hey, you know what? You win some, you lose some. But number 1, I'm gonna go with my Sirius. I think it's just because it's so different. It's just such an all-around good board. It's super easy to take around with you. It sounds great. It's not like a stunner in how it looks. Like you're not flexing on anyone with your slightly transparent-ish white plastic board, but when you type on it, you're like, ooh, this is nice. So
gotta love it, and you built it beautifully, minus the spring weights.
Blame Olivia. It's not my fault.
Yeah, there you go.
They are her switches.
Calling her out. Anyway, top 4 favorite foods. This one's probably never gonna change because these are more like genres. Cheeseburgers, number 4. Love a good cheeseburger. Medium or rare to medium rare. Sushi. I love sushi. Burritos at number 2, like Tex-Mex style burritos, like Chipotle, but we have a place out here called El Queso. That's the greatest gift that God ever gave us.
Dude, it really is nuts, like how good it is.
And then number 1 is, surprisingly, being from Texas, not like Tex-Mex or Mexican food, fried rice, specifically Thai fried rice, with as much spice as you can give.
Nice. What is up, Metal Chuck? How you doing? Little known fact for people, Chewy is very allergic to strawberries.
Like I'll tell one of my coworker. She showed up and she didn't get a jelly donut. She was like, I'm afraid I don't want to get a jelly donut because it might be stuffed with strawberries. So she just grabs another donut at work. This is like a year ago, and hands it to me and goes, hey, here you go. If you want, here, I brought you this donut. I was like, oh, hell yeah, thank you. I took a huge bite out of it. And it was it's very dark in our room. Like we keep it low key. Helps the kids mellow out. And it's got the icing on it was all strawberry. Like it was like a strawberry icing on top. So I'm sitting there like, and I'm like kind of looking at it, and she's like, I didn't get you strawberry. It's like, it's not strawberry. I promise it's not jelly filled. And then I look at it closer and I hold it under a light. I'm like, the top is all strawberry. I was like, well, I'm going to go take a bunch of Benadryl.
Dude, train you right. That is a monk ass. Yeah, dude, strawberries, those seeds, they get you.
Yep. It sucks because I like the flavor of strawberries.
They close down the throat.
Yep.
Chewy's a big dude. Not a lot of people can take him down, but those fucking strawberries, they'll get you.
Strawberries will get you. How'd he die? Someone shoved a strawberry down his mouth.
All right, so my top 4 favorite foods. See, you threw a wrinkle in it when you were like cheeseburgers, because I was like, man, that wasn't going to be on my list, but that's such a good.
Can't go wrong, dude. Like a big, like at least inch to inch and a half thick patty.
Dude, I'm not even that picky. Like something that's just like moderately good,
Like Five Guys does it right.
Oh,
Whataburger's amazing.
Dude, Muya's been picking it up, man. They've been, dude. Bacon?
No bacon. I like bacon, so I'm weird. I like bacon by itself. I don't the whole like let's put bacon on everything. Nah, dude, bacon's good enough by itself.
Give me the bacon on the burger. Baconator, best burger at Wendy's. You know what I found out recently? Before I answer, not found out recently, but realized how just good the general burgers are at Whataburger. Like,
Yep.
I feel like so often I get like one of the specialty, like a Monterey Melt.
Oh, I know you like your Monterey melts. You can ask about that story in Discord. I won't. Tell it on stream.
I got just like a regular double cheeseburger, and I was like, man, I forgot how good this is.
They know how to do it.
So I'm gonna roll that into number 4, which will also be cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers, amazing.
Cheeseburger in paradise.
My 2 and 3 are gonna be really boring because they're gonna be almost the same. Well, they're like from the same area. So 3 will be just like Italian food in general. We'll say like we'll include pizza into that as well, but like more traditional pizza, not like I'm not big on like deep dish pizza. Like I enjoy myself, excuse me, some the Great White at the BJ's Brewery. That's a good deep dish, but it's not my favorite. I wouldn't classify that as more Italian style pizza. But I love me some pasta. So we'll go with that. Number 2, I'm gonna go with Italian desserts. So like cannolis, tiramisu, panna cotta, gelato. Really just kind of like all of those are just kind of where it's at. Not Stouffer's lasagna.
If you're in a pinch, they're not the worst. All right.
You know what? That's true. But if the pasta sauce you're using has sugar in it, you should throw it away. Man, number 1. See, I thought through all these other ones, but then number 1, I'm gonna go with burritos.
They're too good. Burritos are so good.
Because no lie, El Queso is the best burrito place I have ever been to in this area. Maybe ever.
I don't. This is one of those like me. I don't trust Tex-Mex outside of Texas.
Yeah, I mean I've had some good burritos.
And I've yet to have a good burrito better than El Queso.
The thing about, because you also have to think of like price to performance, you know, like
yeah, you can go get a $40 burrito and be like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing ever," but you could have gotten 8 burritos from El Queso.
Dude, El Queso is.
I mean, I'm a sucker. Like whenever my wife will be like, "Hey," like she loves Taco Bell, and I mean, I'm an adult and I love Taco Bell because I exist on this planet and everybody likes Taco Bell. She's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, 3 bean burritos. She's like, "That's it? That's how basic you're gonna be?" I was like, "Yep." Like boring. Now that's regular, just like beans and cheese burritos. These are like actual crafted by the nectar of the gods burritos.
The nectar of the gods. What's
Actually,
crazy?
No, their habanero salsa is the nectar of the gods.
What's crazy though is that like El Queso is owned and operated by some like Asian dude.
Yep. Who used to work at a Chipotle and was like, I could do this better.
Yeah.
And better yet, this is no joke, he's a die-hard Packers fan.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
Yep.
But I have like number 8 on their like their rewards card is numbered, and I have number 8.
Yeah.
I think I did say mac and cheese before. I'm gonna change that up. Well, we can somewhat maybe toss that into the Italian food. We'll make an exception.
My wife makes some of the greatest mac and cheeses I've ever had.
Abracadabra in that team crunch wrap.
Team crunch wrap. Anyway, this is a keyboard talk.
Yeah.
we
we've spent almost 40, well, not 45 minutes, but 30 minutes. We spent 30 minutes talking about our top fast 4.
Fast 4. So anyway, there it is. excited for the new year. So we've got a lot of cool stuff coming. We're excited. We have things that we can't even talk about yet that like it kills me to be able to tell people. I know Cyrus is really excited about it. We've got a lot of cool stuff planned. We're excited to go to Denver and meet as many people as possible. That's not a secret. We're excited. We're going to be hitting our 1 year here in a few months, so we're excited about that. 2020 has a lot of cool stuff planned.
We forgot about Mail Day, dude.
Oh, we did forget about Mail Day. All right, dude. Show it off real quick. Oh, and I want to see these scenes.
All right. Well, you'll see them in a second. So, all right, I'll go first.
Yeah.
So, Mail Day. I got GMK Waves. That's the band roll. I think it's one of the coolest looking band rolls or whatever you say. Is that what it's super called?
I don't know. Packaging.
Packaging. I wish this was the front though, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But
I have been pretending. No, continue.
No, you're good.
I've been pretending to play piano on.
It looks awesome. But it's set up with ISO enter in here.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens when you buy a set made by someone who uses ISO. But what I find weird is that it doesn't naturally have the ISO key that's supposed to be right here.
Oh, the ISO left shift.
Yeah. So what's up with that? But yeah, no, it looks great. My escape is not that bad. I'll pull it out here in a second. But yeah, my escape is not that bad. A lot of people are having issues. Well, I don't know. I don't know how many are actually having issues with it. I feel
at least 10, and that's a lot.
Yeah. Mine's not too bad. Looks pretty okay in my opinion. It's usable. It's a little bit weird. The C's a little bit higher than the S. But I can live with it, as Frothy KK said. But yeah, that's all the mail I got. That's it, I think. Wait, no, it's not. Never mind. I forgot. I never showed this off. This was a Christmas present from my boy down south, Mr. Chewy. Was very stoked to get this, not expecting it at all. And that is, whoop. This
lump of coal.
Get in focus. There we go. Meant to match, well, kind of match GMK Waves. It's not the exact one that matches GMK Waves, but it gets closer to the point where I would want it to. I saw the one that's Waves and I was like, it's got the really bright green. I'm just like, meh.
I think it's good. It's going for the accent.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the actual blue.
This blue matches the I'll do a little side by side. If you look at it, it looks pretty good.
Dang, that's real close.
It's pretty close. It's funny because people were like, oh, that's not going to match. It's not going to be the same. I'm like, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. As long as it's close, it'll look great. So, thank you, Chewy, again. Appreciate it, my dude.
I had some help from Mystery Person. They asked me to not say, so I will not. But yeah, I had some help finding it and obtaining it. So glad I was able to get the hookup from a boy who makes me look good. Because without Osiris, I'm just a guy talking on 001 Anthony's Discord.
But yeah, that's it for me. Other than Chewy did give me a set of C3 stabs, but that's more of just like to try them out and see kind of.
A business. That is a business partner.
But yeah, that was kind of it for me as far as keyboard stuff from the holidays, from the Christmases. Dave, Chewy, sorry to dox you. We're gonna take a trip on over to Chewtown.
Heck yeah, dude. Welcome to my abode. All right, so I got waves, but I'm not going to show it off because you just saw it. I'll post a picture in our Discord. Perfect time. Can somebody Discord us? I kept this a secret from Osiris.
Oh, he did.
So, but yeah, I got waves. My escape key was super janky.
Yeah, his escape key is real bad.
It's the sea is just going to heaven.
It's taken a trip into the heavens.
The ether. Oh.
Ooh.
Found it. Got it. Still sealed. Literally just opened it from the box. Space bars because I like accent space bars. Mizu. Super excited about it. I'm going to open it up. Probably my next build stream.
So was that a Christmas gift or is that something that you...
I picked it up.
Okay.
So excited.
I didn't know. That's awesome. I'm excited for
I like keeping some secrets from Osiris because it's fun to get his reaction. Can we see the escape? I am Mechanist. Just PM me or just like tag me in our Discord, and I will happily post a picture of it. So yeah, that's my mail day. I do have some other but I will probably reveal that next week. So
absolutely. Well, we can go back to our regular screen.
Initial topic.
We are back. Look at that. We're fancy.
Boom. And I hit Osiris up and I was like, this is literally how I act. I'm like, hey, can you do this? He's like, yeah, it's easy. I was like, okay. just do that then.
Nice little, because I feel like when you
I know, so high tech.
When you're talking about mail day, a lot of times you want to show it off, and it's like when it's this little kind of like tiny little picture, you can't see it all. So I liked the idea, and I was like, yeah, dude, we can make it happen. We'll get it fancy up in this mug.
It's not to say that I am like technology deficient. I build a keyboard and build a computer and Google things my own way, but sometimes, you just have to admit when you are not the expert about something, you find the experts. Never be the smartest person in the room. Never be the dumbest person in the room either.
Gio, you're not late. You're just only 51 minutes.
It's okay. We're just
behind
not
being early. Yeah, we're just now getting into the topic. You missed our fast four for the year and our
mail day.
Our mail day. I blanked for a second there, but thank you for the tier 1 sub for 5 months. Appreciate it, my dude. But getting into the topic, into the new year, the things we are looking for, we're hoping for in 2020. Chewy, what is the first thing that you are really looking forward to or hoping
I didn't really put these in order. I was typing these up before we went live. Also, Blind Assassin. Fair enough. He said the not so fast. Totally accurate. I'd say the one thing that I want the most out of is probably the one thing I want the most out of in this hobby, which is in-stock keyboards and in-stock keycaps. Stuff that is just there for the buying. We talked to UPass, and that's something that he's really trying to do over at Canon Keys, is get stuff in stock. The hardest part about in stock is you have to buy so much, because if you buy 150 thinking, this will last me a few weeks, it might be gone in a day. And then it takes you 3 months to get that much stuff. back.
Yeah. Well, and it's
So-
also like really weird too, because I feel like some things in this hobby, you know, if you look at normal consumerism, like someone who's popular, someone posts a really beautiful picture of a keycap set that's like not popular at all, right? It takes off, it skyrockets in price. Whereas like normal consumerism, that would just mean it would go out of stock. Like it wouldn't be sold for any more. A lot of times it would maybe be a couple bucks more, but it's not as crazy as our hobby is, except for like sneakers and stuff like that. But even then, that there's a much higher quantity from the beginning. I think in-stock keycaps can kind of help that a little bit, but it also makes it to where it's like, if something picks up hype on Reddit, it could just be out of stock immediately, especially if it's like a GMK set. But no, I definitely agree. In-stock keyboards, specifically nicer keyboards, like something that's like above KBD fans, but below like Keycult, you know?
Yeah. So, and this is actually funny that you bring this up, because I was watching my dog take a crap, and it was like clear. I was like, okay, clarity. So we've talked about a lot about like the tiered list. There's S and A and B and C. I'm like, no. There's too much. I have my 3. And I'm like, okay, I'm happy with this, and we can place certain things in certain areas. Custom keyboards, high-end custom keyboards, luxury keyboard. There are very few luxury. There are not that many regular old customs. There are a lot of high-end customs. If you're spending more than $300, you're spending 2 to 3 times what a normal custom box keyboard will be, like something Corsair, Razer, whatever. That is a high-end custom keyboard. What is not a high-end custom keyboard is stuff like the drop alts, the KBD Tofus. They're custom. They're no frills. They're there. They're exactly what they need to be. I'm not saying KBD fans only sell. One thing that I would throw in on the custom keyboard, the Brutal 60. The Brutal 60 does not have a lot to offer other than it's got a nice design. But we're not seeing these crazy design aspects that are pushing that to that next level. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to release boards. The NK65, that's just a solid custom keyboard. When you get into like TX, where you're adding weights and you're adding different plate materials and different mounting systems, and then that encompasses like everything. And then you have your high end, which is usually very low quantity of things, like your TGRs, like your Keycult, your one-offs, some private buys that might be pretty insane, or older boards. You can throw a lot of vintage boards in here, because technically it's a luxury to own one of those, because they're not that many, and especially not that many that are good. So like in good shape. So excited. I want to release my this is every board that's ever existed this year, and here's where I place them.
Yeah, I think what's a good way to denote whether or not could be considered like a high end or not is if the base price of just the case and like the plate, if you look at it and you're like, that's not that much more than what you would normally spend. But if you look at it and you're like, wait, what? And I'm not saying as someone who's in the hobby, as someone who's like completely out of the hobby would look at a price of a $350 board and say, wait, you're spending what? That's what makes it.
When you tell your coworker you spent that much money, the amount of time between them going and them going, "Are you crazy?" That's how we judge the custom versus high-end.
Yeah, because we're used to like big box OEM brand boards, your Corsairs, your Duckies being like $149 for like the flagship, maybe even more than that. Like I think a K95 is almost $200. It might have gone down, but but yeah, not that bad.
Wrapping that back in, I want to see as many custom mechanical keyboards in that in stock. I want to see a lot, but not too many, high-end custom keyboards. We don't need every single board that's high-end to be, but I want to see a lot. I'd love to see something like the Rama M60 to be an in-stock keyboard. That would be amazing. Or like the TX60. That would be an amazing in-stock board. And then luxury, there shouldn't be. Those should be under the group buy format or the one-off format, because they're luxury. If they were in stock, they would start losing some of their value, and then that kind of start setting the tone for something else. And we need something to be up there.
Yeah. So I'll move on to one of the few that I put on here, because I know Chewy is like, I don't really know what to say for this one. I'm going to say this is going to be a little bit of a venture out. This is going to be something that I feel like some people aren't going to agree with. They're not going to want these people in our space. But I'm going to say non-endemic collaborations. Basically meaning like a company that has nothing to do with keyboards inherently coming in and doing a collaboration with, say, Canon Keys or Dixie and saying, let's get together, let's design a keyboard. Whether it's Dixie reaching out to, like, say for instance 8008, right? Like, say he would have reached out to Nike and said, hey, is it possible for me to get the like 100% Pantones or RAL colors that you used for these colorways? And they were like, yeah, sure, here, let's do that. Something like that, or like having a back and forth of like actual like companies working with brands and bringing themselves into this space. Because that's one thing that, like, you get that marketing team in there, then this hobby just explodes.
Could you imagine how dope, like how awesome a Nike swoosh weight would be? On the back of a keyboard, just awesome, like brass, like high polished brass Nike swoosh on the back. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
All I'm saying is you could do this Adidas logo as a weight, like an inserted weight. You could do the 3 stripes as an inserted weight. It could happen. All right. Supreme keyboard. I know the meme was made into the Louis Vuitton Supreme, the Nathan Kim's old one. It could happen for real. But no, I think it would be really cool. I think some people in the community are weary of the commercialization of certain things, and they don't necessarily want it to go that way. I think there are pieces of it that are healthy for the community. Getting more people in definitely makes things happen quicker. Prices go down. There's more room for more designers. There's more room for everyone to kind of get their slice of the pie. So yeah, I think if we had some big brands come in and just not try to take it over, but just try to say, hey, let's do this.
Old West Coast Choppers show. Accurate. So let's see other things. New materials. Want to see we're seeing more copper. The 165 by Vox Key. Awesome board. It's cool to see new materials. I like that we're having Palm. I'd love to see some more implemented stainless steel. I know it's harder to cut, thus more difficult to work with, driving up some prices. But I'd love to see some more stainless steel stuff. I'd love to see some stainless steel plates being offered as opposed to just the usual and brass plates and aluminum plates. So cool to see that. Other new materials would be, different plastic would be cool.
Sorry everyone for my internet just going out there for about 236 frames, because that's the frame number I lost. it was like 2 seconds where I just completely lost connection. Everything. I guess. Yeah, because even you froze. But no.
So
definitely,
new materials would be awesome.
Definitely, I think there's a lot of opportunities for new materials. I think Palm, obviously, it's serious. I love it. It's top board right now. For me, at least the one that I own, I really think that that's got a lot of opportunity there. UMPHWQXYZ4287, whatever that. I can never remember that acronym for that name.
Titanium. I want to see a titanium case.
Dude, there was that guy that did titanium plates that didn't deliver. He like delivered half of them.
Yeah.
It's the only time I've seen
we don't-
Japanese Horror Writer be like upset. Was in that Geek Hack thread. He's like, I don't care. Keep my money. Screw you.
Yep.
It's like, damn.
Oof.
But no, yeah. Materials, lots of opportunity there.
And we can also leave Corian. We're done. Like, let's move on.
Yeah, it's people don't understand how hard it is to how to machine that. That's conversations with people who have tried to help out in that aspect, and it is not a complete lost cause, but it is very difficult. So I can understand why some of the issues were had with the Corian board that was released a year ago and hasn't delivered, that we are both in on. But there's definitely other things going on in that one. I'll go into the next one.
Yep.
More 75% boards.
Heck
I think
yeah.
we both have a love for 75%. You don't own a 75% right now,
Nope.
do you? No.
Nope. Still rating on the right one.
Yeah. And I think that's a fair thing to wait on because there are so many variances. Every 75% has a different way of doing the F-row, different number of keys that go on that F-row. They do different things, and it's awesome.
I do really like the Godspeed. Godspeed's more of a like, can I financially afford it at the time that it comes out?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and you and I have talked, Blind Assassin, I've talked about designing a 75% because I'm like, well, why would I look for something when I can just have exactly what I want made? So
I'm just ready for Fox Lab to come out and just do an Orange 75 round 2 for the sole reason of I want
100 PCBs.
Well, yeah, I want more PCBs, and then I also want both a brass plate and the brass weights for it. And I also want them to come back around and do that burgundy color that they had initially teased in the interest check that they decided not to do because the community is stupid and doesn't like burgundy very much, except for GMK burgundy, apparently. It's a beautiful color. You go back and look at the orange 75 interest check, that burgundy was hot. Also, I want the matching numpad. I want that matching
group
numpad.
Was a very long time ago.
It really was. It was like late 2017, I think, or 20.
No, it was 2018. It was summer 2018.
No, dude, it wasn't. It was. I bought it in 2018, like early mid fall. It had to have been. It
now
was.
I'm curious.
Yeah, April 8th was when it went live.
Okay, so April.
Yeah,
But 2018. I was like, it couldn't have been 2017.
Yeah, well, I think the interest check came out late 2017.
Oh.
All I know is it's a beautiful case. I want another one. I want a burgundy or a brass one. Yeah.
So
give me more.
But yeah, more 75% boards would be great. Next thing, I want fewer GMK group buys. Just a couple. Let's just trim the fat. Let's just shave off. Let's agree. It's not going to happen. It's just something I would love to have, but never going to happen. Let's trim the fat. Let's diversify our keycap group buys. We don't need 9 GMK sets running every single month. Let's diversify. Let's get some SA, like you said. Cats exploding. PBT, another great suggestion. I know MT3 is a good one that a lot of people like. Personally, not a fan, but that's a great one. So let's get some more stuff.
Yeah,
Let's
and
diversify, and we don't need. If there are 15 sets running at the same time, that's fine. 10 of them don't need to be GMK.
yeah, let's going into that. So we'll go on because I know Functional mentioned this. Better lead times on SP. 100% agree. It is crazy to me that right now, SA First Love, not First Love, SA Sunday Morning.
Yes.
I was thinking of This Love, which is a song that's on that album.
Yep.
That's on Songs About Jane. I'm gonna call it what I thought it should have been named, Essay About Jane. So Essay About Jane.
You can call it SAAJ. So you can go Saj.
Well, initially it was a GMK set. It was gonna be GMK, and I was like, GMK About Jane is an amazing name. Let's do it. Wrap it up. Like, let's go. But then they switched to SA, and I was like, I'm not waiting a year to get the keycap set. The expected time is November to December of 2020. It's crazy that you gotta wait a year for an SA set. That's like the sole reason why I feel like a lot of people wait on them. So better lead times from SP. We need to have Max Key come back. I agree, Functional.
I mean, they just did Leviathan.
Yeah, but that's one set this year.
I know, but well, they did a few sets. Like they released a bunch of different, like green on white and pink on white and blue on white. They
Yeah, but
did a
that's
bunch
like
of
their
just, like,
normal
in-stock
lines, you know.
sets. Yeah.
I think we need, but I also think if we need Cat to come out with sets so that people can decide whether or not they like it more than SP in terms of like their colors. Because SA sets have a very unique look to them in terms of the way that they are like shined pretty much. And yeah, some people have samples, but like Cat Alpha is the only one that's really out. And I think Cat Milkshake is going to be the first set, which is basically just, here's another white set with some little bit of color.
Couple colors, yeah.
Yeah, but once we get into those really highly colorful, like super contrasty sets, then we'll really get an idea of what Cat is and what it can do. So definitely that.
So, and as I say, fewer keycaps. When I want, this is another thing, more boards. They're just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I guess if you think about like, okay, what boards are available? Well, this has really been a huge bump in 65% this year. This is, I mean, 75% are great, but there are a lot. If you know, if you don't like one thing about it, you might not like that versus another 75%. But we've seen a lot of solid 65% boards. I'm just not a 65% layout person, so that obviously chops off a giant chunk of what I like. So I just want to see more boards. I know that 60% boards is kind of tough to do because it's kind of like, well, how many ways can you build a rectangle? But I'd love to see some more stuff like that. I'd love to see Rama go outside of HHKB. For the love of God, please go outside HHKB for a 60%. And just more boards across everything. I understand that they're difficult to make. I do. But my hopes is to see more and different boards come out.
Yeah. And to touch back on, I know Metallic Chuck said that Eternal has samples. When I say keycaps in the wild, I mean like the full set. I think I think that people put a lot more weight into samples than what is meant for. It's really just for color matching for the designer. Like, realistically, they could do all that and let's not even see it. It's going to look a little bit different when you put it in, like once you have the full 1U of each color, it'll look different when you put it as a, when you actually have it as an alpha rather than just a full 1U cap. But yes, more boards, lots more boards.
More affordable boards.
More affordable boards. I think it's unfortunate that the Polaris got delayed so long. We're now I think it was supposed to be done by the end of the year initially. That was like the plan, was around this time.
Before they went to group buy, that was the plan. And they very quickly went back on that and were like, no, that's not going to be a thing. We had 6 times the amount of orders.
See, that needs to not happen.
Yeah.
Like, nothing against that situation. Like, awesome. But my thing is I feel like as a community, we need to get better at being like we need to overestimate. I feel like we don't overestimate enough on certain things. And the demand is there. Functional says it. The demand's there. But we need to be able to output them and be realistic about that output. Like, for someone like KBD fans, we've talked about this before. A lot of other designers, you can start running boards while you're still in group buy. Like, you don't have to wait for the group buy. Specifically KBD fans, because they like are next door to the factory.
Yeah, and they have the capital.
They have the capital to invest money into those boards. Get some.
Now I understand the irony of this next statement. That's what the Xeno did. The Xeno started production before, which is a great idea. Yes, I understand Xeno had issues, but that's a great idea. It's like, oh, just go ahead and order 20 of each color option, because you know you're going to fill. If you know you're going to hit those 60, at least you can get those out. You can start getting them. Some people might be upset because the big issue there is like, well, then he got his board before I got mine. It's like, at the end of the day, I was annoyed when I started seeing 4 Fiel show up to people's doors. And I was like, dang it. Now that I have it, I could not care less.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If you're like, I mean, you could think of a little bit of, it could be like a month or a couple months maybe if you had a huge order. But at the end of the day, like you said, once you get it, you're not going to be that upset if someone got it a couple weeks before you, a month before you. But yeah, more affordable boards definitely needs to happen. I think to piggyback on this, which will kind of go into another one. I think we need a North American equivalent of KBD fans. Not equivalent. A North American option that maybe is a little bit nicer than KBD fans. Whether that's Project Keyboard with things like the Sirius and the Valkyrie, and then occasionally running group buys for things like the Kepler and the FC65. Having those in stock, like having things in stock that is like boards, but it being there and running group buys. I think that's important. Kind of piggybacks off what your first one was.
Yeah, I think Cannon Keys is going to be that to an extent.
Yeah, I think they both will kind of team up on it, because I know that 159 wants to do more of that. Have things.
Yeah, and I know like 159 Cannon Keys are there, like for the boards. I don't think we're going to ever have this one unless Mike and Dixie and UPass all just like get a house together and they're like, let's just monopolize the world. But like until everyone gets, I don't think there's always going to be, Mike's always going to be Switch. You're always going to go to Novel Keys for Switches. You're always going to go to UPass for maybe the in-stock boards. You're going to go to Dixie so you can get your group buys going, and everybody else has group buys. So there's the way it kind of slowly sprung up, and Switch Mod's in there too for lube. Like you need lube, you go to switchmod.net, like
/Mex on deck.
/Mex on deck for 4% off your entire order. So that's why I don't think it will happen. I would love it but we're never going to have, like, KBD fans stop shop. You don't really need anything outside. I think the only person that is set up for it currently is Novel Keys, because they have everything.
Yeah, I was thinking more of like a board situation.
Just in stock boards.
Well, like not just in stock boards, but like having something nice there, also running group buys, and then maybe having a couple different items. Like
Yeah.
having a store where you can mostly get just about everything. So you're consolidating your purchases. I'm interested in what Delphin said in the chat. It says, I want 2020 to be the year of keycap sets that come as full base kits but are affordable, with no need to buy the extras such as colorful modifiers and extra spacebar kits just to complete the keycap set. I'm going to respectfully disagree with this. For the sheer fact of the reason why a base kit is a base kit is because that's what the designer intended to, for the most part. Now, things like numpad, stuff like that, that's got other things in play in terms of like trying to hit certain price points on things. But base kits not having additional colorful modifiers, things like that, and space bars and whatnot, that is solely on the designer. If they want to do that, they could. Now, the vendor might be like, no, but
Wrong.
they really could.
That's
So,
why I think white on black and black on white. We call it minimal, but it's just black on. That's why I think those two sets should be the only in stock set. Like Origina does a good job with how they run things, but I think those are the two that I think the world would love to have. Everybody just have access to at all times. This is black on white, white on black, full set. Everything you need's there. If you want an Alice, you've got your space bars for it. At numpad, all that stuff. Because the other thing too there is you don't need different mods. You don't need multiple mods for multiple different colors. You don't need accent keys. None of that. No frills. So it's going to lower the price. And so I think that's why those are the only two for being able to be done like that. The issue we kind of have right now, minimal, and is so different from a lot of sets. It's broken up specifically. I think we kind of need something other than minimal to come out. That's just GMK black on white, and have it be more of a basically just whatever. I don't know what it's called because there's like two different GMK white on black sets. Literally copy that and flip it.
yeah, I think also I think a lot of people, because ideally in a perfect world, I would agree with the statement of not wanting like one kit and that's it. Like you just buy it and then you're done. For like custom sets, it would be great. Like waves. Like what if it was $200 and you got everything? Awesome. I'd love to use some of those novelties, but at the end of the day, I want to pay $80 for novelties. But at the same time, that first price point is a huge marketing tool. Minimal, right? $99. No numpad, right? Numpad's separated. I don't think numpad should be separated personally, but I understand it. I think it's a smart move for marketing in terms of getting prices down. But I don't even know where I'm going. I had a brain fart.
Well, I mean, in that regards, I mean, if you were served a steak,
Right.
and 60% of it was fat, you would be upset.
Right.
As if they charged you per ounce and they weighed it with the fat on there, you would be upset. Or if they weighed it, you're annoyed. You're like, well, I only got this much. I have all this stuff left over. Why did I even spend money? Some people might like the fat. Some people, or whatever. But if you went to, it's kind of like if you went to McDonald's and you ordered a burger, but they're like, well, we have to give you a drink too. You have to spend them. You're like, well, I just want doesn't matter. You have to buy the fries and you have to buy the drink. It's like, well, can I buy the burger at this much? And it's like, but the
you
people
just
that
went
don't
full. We lost you for a good portion of that. Yeah, now you sound.
Am I back?
You sound.
In my deep voice.
Your very deep voice.
1 second.
Someone please clip that. I'm gonna assume he can still hear me, but I'm gonna say, Blind Assassin, removing a numpad is horrible in your opinion. I definitely can respect that opinion, understand it, but you have to obviously know, like looking at it from like taking a step back and not having your preferences influence the decision. 90%, if not more, of the hobby exists without a numpad. Like of our hobby exists without a numpad. It's from TKL to 60%. You know, that's most of everyone. They're hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
You sound
Do I
like
still
you.
sound deep? All right, cool. All I was saying was basically, if you want just a burger from McDonald's, you shouldn't have to buy the fries and the drink. Think about that. Next time you go and you just want one thing, it's like if they force you to buy everything else, that's exactly how that is. So
Yeah, and I understand, Blind Assassin, what you're saying about the sets going up in cost per cap with a numpad removed, but I don't think a lot of people look at that. Also, Dixie, thank you for the tier 1 for 5 months. Love you, my dog. Roll Tide. They're playing in tomorrow? Roll Tide. I hope they win. They're playing Michigan, right? I think they're playing Michigan.
yeah.
Beat up Jim Harbaugh so that way the other Harbaugh can win the Super Bowl.
Nope.
Dude, you think you can stop Lamar Jackson? Come on, man. Let's be real.
No, I don't. Not the other. No, dude. We'll take him.
But no,
because here's what we could take the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are going to beat Baltimore Ravens. Anyway, continue.
Oh, dude, I don't know about that, man. I don't know. What are the Chiefs going to bring? How are they going to handle, dude,
playoff experience?
Playoff experience. Lamar Jackson is the most like explosive player in the NFL.
Same thing was said about Pat Mahomes last year.
Okay. All right. All I'm saying is they got...
Listen, you said the same thing. You said that OU defense was going to surprise everybody.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure...
four starters. They lost 4 starters.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. He set a record. He set a record for bowl games of offensive touchdowns.
In the first half.
Back to keyboards.
Yeah, back to keyboards. You know what? The Sooners got slapped. They got their butt cheeks clapped. It was sad. But keyboards are fun, and they make me not cry.
They make me forget about football.
But back to it. So, since Dixie's here, we can get into this one. We can talk a little bit about vendors. I think we both can say we want to see more vendors go full time. We want to see, I know Canon Keys right now, they're doing a lot. Just shipped out Waves. Just shipped out Satisfaction 75 before that. Not full time yet. UPOS is still working a full time job. Would love to see him go full time, be able to make this his life. I think we've seen, Key Colt's gone full time this year. Dixie full time. 159 Switch mod. We've seen 4 this year. Hopefully we see more next year. Hopefully we see some vendors pop up that we didn't necessarily have before. Maybe we see some vendors start hiring employees. That'd be crazy. That'd be awesome. Be great for the hobby.
Yeah. And kind of off of that, content creators. It'd be cool. We saw Nathan Kim go full time as a content creator. That's awesome. That's super dope. Like, it's crazy that not only a vendor, it's simple. I sell enough things and make enough that I can go full time with this. Content creators have to rely on the support of the community to give money they're not giving to the vendor, or at least work through that content creator with other vendors to make enough money to pay rent and continue doing what you're doing. That's insane. I hope we can see Top Clack do it. It would be difficult for us to do it due to, I know that Top Clack's wanting to do it, I think, through just Brian going full time, which he deserves. He's put a lot of work over the last 3 years in doing so. So we hope to see it. I know, like someone like Apiary. I know that she was. I know that kind of is her full-time gig. I believe she's in school.
I don't think she is anymore, but she is actually, as of her stream last night, she's talking about how she's trying to focus on Twitch a little bit more and is hoping to get partnered pretty soon.
Which we talked about, and I think she will. I'm excited to see her go that route as well. So that'll be another awesome content creator. Would love to see more and more people go full time in this business, just because it really does show how much this community is able to support people. And how it would be terrifying to go full time in a situation like this, because it's all month to month. Basically, you don't know if you're going to have that explosion or that steep drop off. So seeing stabilizing that kind of support is incredible, and we hope to see more widespread as well.
Absolutely. All right, Joey.
Did I miss anything?
We got to talk about some clicky switches.
Oh yeah, dude.
We want them
bring
back.
Some clicky switches back.
We haven't had. Go ahead.
We need. I don't like the speed switches because they wobble too much.
They do.
We need a lubable box navy, box pale blue, box everything. Something that can be efficiently lubed without having to spend $30 on lube. You can efficiently lube something as tactile and as clicky as a box navy. That sounds also as good. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen new clicky switches that are like of note since the box navy, I don't think. So yeah, it would be really nice to have a new switch kind of take over the market again. It would be cool to see that. I know it seems like we go through phases. Earlier this year, we were in the Holy Panda phase, and then throughout this summer, the inks kind of took over, the inks and the creams. So it would be nice to have a little time where clickies dominate again, where that's all you see. There was like a 2 or 3 month span before Boxgate, where it was like all pale blues,
box navies and box jades ruled the world.
Jades. The diversity needs to come back. What prevents box navies from being lubable?
They're not lubable. You can lube them. There's just not a fantastic way of doing it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more lube. There's a lot more contact on those. Delafen, thank you for the 50 bits. But yeah, there's a lot more plastic on plastic, so it's harder. They're harder and harder to lube, and they're just not as effective at picking up that lube just because there's so much rub. And they weren't really designed to be taken apart and lubed. Not that any of the other switches are designed to be taken apart and lubed, but these were like, it's a box switch. Everything works right here, and it's all this, and everything needs to work in the entirety of this part. Like if you look at the box switch, the actual pieces you're working with are so small, and then the rails are just huge. Yeah, so it's just difficult to work with.
I was like, wait, I have one on my desk. I don't have my opener. Yeah.
So it's just difficult. People have done it. One of my favorite boards at the Austin meetup was a lubed box pale blue switch, but it takes a lot of time. It takes probably 3 times as much lube as a normal lube job. So it can just be difficult.
It's not conducive to be able to do in a relatively short period of time.
So, but other than that, we're excited for 2020. We're excited to see what happens. I think this community is going to continue to grow at the rate that it's growing at. I think the one thing I'm excited about to see, I don't really know what's going to happen. Delphin, thank you for the 1 month sub. Definitely appreciate that. One thing that I am curious to see happen is what's going to happen in the mech market. Because with 3,000 sets of Oblivion and 3,000 sets of Dracula and 25,000 sets of GMK Olivia versus 250 sets of Delta and, you know, a handful of DualShot, a handful of Terra, and a handful of, you know, all these sets that made it and did okay, but they're just not breaking records. How these level out, because it's kind of like, well, why didn't it sell well? Well, there wasn't that much hype around. So I want to be able to sell Oblivion because it's super, super hype set for a lot. Yeah, but they're 3,000. So it's this weird pull of like, what sets are going to be the pricey ones? Right now, Serica and Olivia are the two that kind of came to mind that are like, oh, these are the ones that skyrocketed in price. And so I'm curious to see what those will be, because I don't think it's going to be Olivia. I think it's going to be these super duper hyped up sets. I think it's going to be, like we talked about, these super underperforming sets that people didn't realize they wanted. So DMG is another.
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like probably about when we first started, I paid a lot more attention to Mech Market. I think we both did. I don't really look at it very much, and I don't actually hear people talking about it as much as there was for a while. I know people were paying insane amounts for GMK sets for a long time. I think it's kind of slowed down a little bit, but it's still there, obviously. Another thing I'm really excited for is, this is a very specific one. It's for what Zap Cables is doing. I was talking a little bit about this with some people last night with Geo and not Geo, as well as some other people. I think it's awesome. If, in case you didn't know this, Zap Cables is basically going to move away from the custom cable market, in a sense of you're no longer going to be able to go on their website, pick what you want, and they'll make that cable. They're going to do limited runs that are already set up in certain variations to run those, and then always have DIY kits. And they're going to focus a lot more on DIY. What I think this does is this kind of takes them out of that and allows them to not fight with people like Summit Cables or Cruise Cables or all the other cables. One is apparently called Osiris Cables. It's not me.
Yeah, there's Chris Cables. There's what's the other one? Mechables.
But yeah, he's really not competing with them anymore. You know, he's not there. He can do his runs of what he makes. They go out instantly. There's no time to wait. He doesn't have to double check orders in terms of like while he's making it. He just makes them all and he's like, this is what I have. Here you go. And but I'm really excited for that. I think it's a great thing for the community. I think it'll open up some opportunities for other people to just be, hey, get a DIY kit from Zap Cables and I'll make it for you. Pay $15 and I'll make it for you.
I also think it's cool. I think a lot of people builds, you know, we talked about this for a while today, or yesterday, I don't remember what day, but I'm like, if you build like 50 white coiled Type-C cables, they will sell out instantly.
Yeah.
If you can do some cool stuff with some crazy colors, but if you build like 3 basic like white or black cables that look really nice, maybe some coils on there, they will just always sell, because I would love if you get on these runs. It still takes a month. If you go, hey, I want that, and then you click and you get one of the best cables you've ever owned straight to you, and you know exactly what it's going to look like because there's a picture online of it and it's sent to you immediately. We don't have that in this hobby of like end products. You can get switches, cool, keycaps to an extent, but not a lot of things are like, here's your completed product and it was already in stock. So I'm excited to see what the in-stock stuff is.
Yeah. So. Chat, everyone here, what are some things you are excited for? What are things you want to see in 2020? We want to know. I'm trying to think of some things that I'm excited for. What keycap set are you most excited for, Chewy, for next year?
Did I say this? I feel like I said this. Modern Dolch Light, Sloth,
Jeff.
Taro.
Go away. Go away, Jeff.
So those three I'm excited for. I'm excited for...
Just kidding. Love you.
The Austin. I'm really excited to build that. But some insane person. Oh, what's the name? Hold on. Let me look it up because I want to make sure I give his name. I won't give out his name because I don't want to cause any issues. Somebody built an Austin with Zykos.
That wasn't Drifting Bunnies?
That was not Drifting Bunnies.
Really?
Drifting Bunnies, the designer of the Austin, built an Austin, the 104 key or something. I don't know. It's like 100. It's over. It's in between 100 and 110. Built an Austin with that many Zykos, which blows my mind. One, that I love that other people are trying Zykos because I definitely think they should. Build a 40% or a 60%. It's like
build a Rama M6.
Yeah, M6.
Try out on one of these.
Perfect. 100. I was like, I just seen that. I was like, I'm blown away. I have built what I guess there's 63 on the OSA and 62 on 64 on the OSA. 65. Sorry. Yep, 65. 65 switches on the OSA and 62 on the Fiel. So I'm over 120 and I hate my life because they're so annoying to deal with. And the fact that somebody built one board with the Austin with how troublesome they can be, props to that person.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like one of the rare situations where your switches, man, they might cost more than the board. The switches might cost more than the board.
It's up there.
And we're not talking about a board that was like cheap, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
Yep. That's like, to me, that's the other thing where if I'm like, all right, Chewy, I'm done quitting keyboards. Austin with Zykos. Keep my Baka. Austin with Zykos. I'm done. Keep those two boards.
Stash Builds says, I want to see new layouts, something like the S7, and that is a 70%. I can agree with that.
I want 70%.
That also pinged my mind of I want to see things that are you better keep the S or you get
No, that's fair. I get that one. Yeah, I'll keep that.
I'm going to see more variations. We've seen a lot of polycarbonate in the past 2 years. 2018 really was the year of polycarbonate, I feel like, and then it kind of spilled over a little bit into the early parts of this year. I want to see more colored polycarb. The MXSS is finally shipping. That was a colored purple polycarb. The
Heidi Bush did his purple one. Yeah.
HBCP. Heidi Bush posted one today in our Discord of a picture of a purple polycarb. I know black polycarb exists. You can have different colors. I think I want to see more colors of polycarbonate. I think that would be really cool. It's a cool way to diversify the board. You got to sell a lot of them for it to make sense, but there's a lot of people that want to buy boards, so you might as well try. But yeah, I think that's I think that would be cool.
I want to see more boards that, we talked about seeing more boards that are cheaper. I want to see a board that has the Big Brother alternative. It's kind of the Big Brother. So I'd love to see something like Rama, no fancy weight on the, no, and I want to see something like the TX60, no brass weight, with no frills, maybe not even a PCB. I want to see something like, I mean, you kind of, it's Sirius kind of does it a little bit with just the options, but like, I love, like, Leaf did it great. Leaf always does this great, where they let you upgrade and downgrade your board.
Well, that's what I was gonna
much as
say. Is I was gonna be like, well, like think about like the Orange, right? Like
Yeah.
all the Fox Lab boards where you can have the option of, do you want to have brass options or do you want to have just aluminum? Gives you a
I
whole
love
other
that.
way
I
of-
love that idea of like, oh, and it'd be even cool to see, like, you know, if you had, like, let's take this for example. Instead of even having it cut out, still just one solid piece. You basically are designing two boards and just have one solid piece. So you have the option to go up to, oh, well, we'll cut it out and put a weight in there. Or instead of making it all cut out, having that. I understand you can't like upgrade later, but that would be cheaper because you would be less machine time. And then still put the logo on the back. So you really do kind of have like the base version and then the upgraded version. Kind of like the, what's it called? Mechanisk, he's kind of doing that, where it's like you have your base version and then you can upgrade. You can get the one that looks fancier and has a little more, you know, pixie dust on it.
Yeah. I like the idea of having it be the same board, but having like options of like, do you want aluminum or do you want brass? Just because I like the ability to be like, okay, well, if I want both, I can have both. If I want to match a certain key set, maybe I want gray and green to match terminal, but if I want to match nines, I can get brass, and I can have a brass build with nines on it, and I can have a aluminum build with terminal on it, and it still matches. I think
That's one vendor we haven't talked about, is Mechanisk. I think he's doing awesome stuff.
He also went full time this year, so
Yep. Another guy that like you have a very clear path of, well, how much money do you want to spend? How many features do you need? Like, you can get this. You know, the Klippa and the Fiel are very similar. The Klippa is like, hey, do you want a custom keyboard? Or Fiel, hey, do you want a high-end? Like, that's how I view that. Do you want it to have extra weight, to have a little bit more aesthetically pleasing design to some people? Do you want the actual brass weight in it? Like all that, you know, extra stuff? Where if you go, okay, well, I don't really care about that. I just want the layout and the board. And you're like, well, just get the Klippa. So
yeah. Well, and I think he did great things this year in really separating himself from like the KVD fans offerings. It was pretty blatant that like the 5 degree and the Tofu were kind of modeled after the Klippa and the Fiel. He really did things to separate his boards and make them significantly more unique than those offerings. And then what those offerings really could, as well as get his pricing down, which was crazy. Like, his pricing is nuts for what you get. Super, super great value.
So, also, if you guys have questions for us, let them fly at us. Be happy to answer questions or just respond to what you want to see in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about our content that we're gonna do. We've got big things coming. Come check us out.
I upgraded something today that I'm excited to show you after stream.
Ooh, I'm excited to see it. I am very excited about what we have going. We have some things that we're going to announce later next year. Well, at some point next year. We promise it'll be next year. We have some things that are going to come up that are going to be pretty big, that are going to be a lot of fun. We're kind of changing things up. Obviously, we're starting to stream on Mondays, so it'll be Mondays and Wednesdays. And then we will be doing some games with subs on Fridays. It's going to be varying Fridays throughout the month, so we haven't really nailed it 100% down, but stay tuned to our Discord We will be making an announcement soon about that upcoming schedule. So we're going to be doing things like Jackbox, Counter-Strike, Halo, Overwatch. We might do some like puzzle games, might do some like Cards Against Humanity. Who knows? We got to make sure we don't get banned on Twitch. D&D with subs might be hard.
Oof.
That's going to be hard though, just because it'll have to be like here's
a lot
6
of prep,
months
a lot
with the
of
same
prep.
subs.
Well, a lot of prep has to. You can do a one shot.
Let's be
One
real
shots.
here. I don't want to fall asleep. Okay.
We might, Delphin. We might have to do like Chewy walks everyone through how to play D&D on stream.
You know what? I'm okay with that. I'll be in chat.
So
I gave D&D a solid try. Multiple
times. He gave it a full try and enjoyed it. I am someone who plays Dungeons and Dragons. For those who don't know what D&D is, I'm someone who plays Dungeons and Dragons once a week, every single week. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do on weekends. If I don't talk in the chat, it's because on Saturday nights, it's because I am playing Dungeons and I want to share it. He gave it the full test. Wasn't a fan. It's not for everybody. Not everything's for everybody.
I think part of it was because, just like most things that we play, I found out how to break it, and I broke it, and I made it to where things couldn't happen anymore. But D&D is not for me. But we will be doing games with subs on Fridays at some point. Well, not at some point. Throughout the year next year. We're going to be releasing that schedule. We're going to have lots more stuff on YouTube that's going to be a little bit different. We're obviously going to keep uploading these videos over to YouTube so you can check them out. But we're going to be doing things like more typing tests, more like sexy B-roll shots of boards. I think that's something that's really going to be cool, as well as some other stuff that's going to be going on over there, reviews, whatnot, some how-tos. We're really going to try to diversify the channel and what we're doing.
And we're keeping up with the interviews. I know a lot of people watch us for our, not really, we've moved away from the interview. It's more of just bringing people on to hang out with us. So we're still doing that Wednesday. That's not changing. That's kind of the cornerstone of Mechs on Deck, is bringing the community together, showing people of the community, giving people who may not be that vocal a voice and a face, and people can see and get to know them. Yeah. So that's something that we've been loving doing, and that's not changing at all. So
yeah, our thought process going into it was how do we diversify the content a little bit, how to get it to where people who maybe don't know anything about keyboards maybe find us in a different way, get something that's a little bit more artistic out. At least for me, I like the artistic parts of the YouTube stuff. And the other thing was, how do we get the community that we've built more involved with our stream and hang out with us? Feel like no one ever wants to hang out and play games with us. It's like the same 3 people every time. Come hang out with us Fridays.
Don't be afraid.
Next year. Don't be afraid. Like, it'll be fun. You get to hear us say things that we probably shouldn't say.
Absolutely.
I've got to make sure that I don't say things that'll get me banned on Twitch.
Please don't get us banned on Twitch. But yeah, if you ever, and PM us, if you want to play games with us, but maybe you're shy or whatever, you just learn, PM us, PM me. I was talking to someone, they're like, I don't want to bother. Dude, I'm literally sitting here watching my wife play Pokemon. Like, I'm not doing anything, trust me. I don't do anything. You guys want to play Call of Duty Friday? I don't own Call of Duty, but maybe.
Neither do I. I would like to own Call of Duty, I just don't, and I don't have a ton of money to spare right now. So.
But the new year's coming. Anyway, I think that'll wrap it up. I believe if you guys have any last second questions, I'm going to go through our sponsors really quick, our awesome sponsors, Dixie Mech. You can go to mechsondeck.dixiemech.com to get GMK DualShock, like 27 hours left. Go get that set. If you haven't figured it out yet, I got it for Osiris for Christmas. I knew I was really happy that I was able to get that for him because I was like, dang it, that's such a cool set. And I'm excited that, one of us is going to have it. So might as well gotten it. I know he was on the fence. Dixie, we do play CS. So about Counter-Strike, absolutely. We will play CS all night long.
I'm putting this in the universe because I want it to happen.
Oh, yes.
Teja Types, X Teja Snipes versus Mechs on Deck. CS.
You will find
best of 3 or best of 5. I want that to happen at some point next year. Mechs on Deck versus Teja Snipes.
Listen.
Clip it, ship it.
Chewy's got the strats. Osiris has the aim. And that's all you need.
Dude, let's make it happen. Again, Teja Types versus Mechs on Deck. Best of 5 in CS go. Let's make it happen.
Let's do it. So yeah, but Dixie Mech, whose team am I? That's tough. We might have to have a draft. That would be even more fun. Have a draft of people. Anyway. So but yeah, Dixie Mech dual shot. Next up, Zap. Be sure to go check him out. He's doing awesome stuff. He's gonna have awesome cables in stock. He's gonna have DIY kits available. Really excited to see what's to come in 2020 for Zap. And lastly, switchmod.net/Mechs on Deck, 4% off. Lube Springs, GMK Metaverse Round 2 is coming up, or V2, I guess. I don't know what they're calling it. Is coming up January 18th, so be sure to check that out. Anyways, yes, CS. I would love Dixie, PM us. We'll talk.
We'll have to play.
We'll try you out. How about that?
We'll try you out. Yeah. It would be fun. It would be a lot of fun.
It would be a lot of fun.
I think
I might need a day. I might need a day of practicing smokes.
Yeah, I will too, but I think we would win. Just gonna go on a limb and say that. Come hang out with us on Discord if you want to play games with us. You want to hang out. You want to see what's going on. You want to stay in tune for when we're doing new stuff. Check us out on Discord. If you are new here and you haven't followed us or subbed to us on YouTube, check us out on YouTube. We've got 32 other episodes on there, as well as a whole bunch of interviews, some reviews, a vlog, other stuff on YouTube. Check it out. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're excited about New Year. I'm getting stoked right now just thinking about the stuff that we're doing. I'm really thinking mentally about this CS best of 3, about who I'd want on the team and how we'd get them. But yes, let's make it happen. I think that's gonna wrap it up, right?
Yep. That'll wrap it up. We're gonna go raid Apiary. We're not gonna have that. Thank you guys for showing support. We're gonna raid Apiary now. We got 7 seconds till I can hit start, but thank you guys very much for the support. Clavier will be coming on to hang out with us on New Year's Day, so be sure to check that out. We're going to talk to him about cutting plastic. So thank you. Thank you guys. Apiary is done. All right, well, I'm canceling that. Maybe that's why that didn't work.
When he finds someone else, I will talk about. Just want to say thank you to everyone. We really appreciate all the support we've gotten this year. I can speak for both of us and just say this is not what we expected this to become throughout this year. We kind of went into this without a whole lot of expectations. And so it is kind of mind-blowing to me that we are able to get the viewers that we have. We really appreciate it. The fact that we were able to get to NorCal and not have to come out of pocket for it, it just still blows my mind to this day. So I'm really thankful for y'all. Definitely really appreciate the love and support that we've gotten from y'all, and we're really looking forward to 2020. And as Frothy KK says, bigger in 2020.
So I think Apiary rated Meowgo 11. Someone in chat, can someone in chat confirm that with me real quick? Because I'd love to rate him too. That'd be cool. Because I think he went from like 10 to 76, and this could put him like over 100, which would be awesome. Yes. Okay. Starting the raid.
Awesome. But again, thank y'all, everyone. Thank you for 2019. This is our last stream of this year. We're starting fresh and new in 2020. We love you. Thank you so much.
Switch tester.
Happy New Year.